What up, y'all? Okay, so listen, we are getting ready to do coronavirus crisis with Courtney. Courtney is, hold on. Courtney is a sports medicine specialist who I've been getting daily updates from, and I know a lot of you are getting a lot of information, some misinformation. People don't know what the hell is going on. Yes, I got a clean black shirt. It's been a mess over here, but I've asked her to call in live and to answer questions that people may have. And no, it's not Courtney Kardashian. You guys are hilarious. So hold on a second. Let me see if I can find her. So when she gets on live, she'll request me. And you guys are going to be able to ask questions, and then she's going to answer the questions. So we're going to figure this all out together. Waiting for Courtney to log in. All right, she's here. Hold on. Because I'm not a specialist. I'm just trying to stay coronavirus free. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, you got the nice little outdoors backdrop.
Yeah, I got to get some, we got to start breathing in some good air is really what I call it. Making sure that I get my 15, 20 minutes outside every day. It's necessary.
Okay. So listen, Courtney Watson is somebody that I met through Floyd Mayweather and the Money Team. She helps to keep everybody healthy. And whenever I have problems, even if I have a sore throat, I call Courtney. I'd be like, what the hell is going on? And I honestly, like I told you last night, I think I already caught the coronavirus. I think I caught it because when I caught the flu, what I called the flu, because that's all we knew at the time, it was such a bad flu. I thought, like, this is the worst thing I've ever had. Dry coughing, the chills, all of that. I went to the doctor. They just said, oh, it's just it'll pass. But I felt like I was going to die. Can people have already caught it and don't know and then work through it?
Yes, that's a fact. That's possible. There's about 50% of people who actually have it and don't know. And, there are some signs and symptoms that a lot of people get, but then there's also people who have what's called asymptomatic, where you don't have any symptoms at all and you still can have the virus. So
this is crazy. Well, I know people have a lot of questions, so I'm going to see if people have questions.
right.
If you guys have questions, go ahead and ask us here, and then I'm going to populate them, and then Courtney can answer the questions. In the meantime, you had been telling me for the last week and a half that we were going to be on quarantine, and now here we are in LA on quarantine.
Yes, I've told you that. You were part of my first, I really had to, as soon as I started finding out a lot of the information, I thought it was important for me to get as much information to my friends and my family that I could. Because, reaching out to social media, it's kind of hard to understand it. I think a lot of people are just confused about what does this actually mean? What is a pandemic? What does it mean for coronavirus? Does that mean we're going to die? Does that mean we can survive it? So I just started doing all the research that was possible just to help us learn and understand the breakdown of what's really going on. Because as you see, there's so much information that everybody has or that they're getting from all different sources, and it's kind of hard to filter through all of that to see what it is. So I saw this coming maybe almost 2 weeks ago. And we still haven't kind of gotten to that point that we need to be at. Still people driving around and doing a lot of things, but we have to really understand the importance of staying home right now if we want to get control of this.
Why do you think people aren't taking it serious?
People aren't taking it serious because, one, we haven't really had anything like this in a long time. So they don't really understand the magnitude of it. At the same time, you and I both know, being from LA or, in California, period, I mean, there's so much to do, and we get so caught up in doing so many things that we don't even realize that sometimes it's good to just make sure you're doing all the basic things to live and to feel good and to be able to produce and to help others. So we get a little confused about, someone putting us like on punishment almost. It's like restriction, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, for me, I don't have any symptoms of the virus, but I woke up this morning stressed the fuck out. Like, I feel like the anxiety is now kicking in, where like there's so much happening at the same time. And I just feel like people need to find things to do to stay sane.
Yeah, absolutely. Find things to do to stay sane. I said, let's just start working out a little bit more. I'm sure we all could, use some time that we should be putting into taking better care of our bodies. So I say just work out a little bit, really get your brain conditioned to start being able to handle a lot of the news that we need to keep up with, and eating the right things, focusing on what our foundation is in our body that keeps us feeling good and living good. So we got to go back to the basics, I think, and just understand how we feel, what makes us move and think better. I keep focusing on our brain because our brain has to be in better shape. We have to do a better job of making better decisions for ourselves.
Yeah, I just touched my nose, so I gotta use this Perel. My hands are so dry from using Perel, it don't make any sense.
I know they get really dry from that. They say that we touch our face over, I say 70 to 80 times, maybe over 100 times a day.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a statistics, right? Wow.
All right, so listen, people are asking questions. I'm going to put the questions up here on the screen. Just if you can answer these questions, and then I'll move on. So that girl, Kayla, said, if I have a weak immune system, how high am I at risk if I leave the house to get fresh air?
If you have a weak immune system, you have to do the things that's going to help your immune system get stronger. I mean, it can't happen overnight, but getting fresh air, being by yourself, wearing gloves. I have gloves right here that I constantly just try to prepare to have on when I am leaving the house, just to go outside and get fresh air. The mask, those things are really helping people who have not even the ones who have a strong immune system, but the ones who don't, really kind of start working on things to make them feel better that way, so that you can feel more comfortable being outside. So yeah, we're all at risk, but at the same time, being by yourself and really practicing that social distancing, that's what's important for us to understand as we're moving around and being in shared space.
Okay, so the next question is from Jayla, the hairstylist. I have a stuffy nose and I've been coughing. Do you think I have corona? I'm kind of scared.
Stuffy nose. Okay, so let's talk about the three common symptoms that everyone needs to kind of focus on. High fever, that's over 103, 104 temperature. Deep dry coughs, and then shortness of breath. So no. Coughing, that's a sign, yes, but you really want it to be like a deep, dry cough. We want to treat as much of these symptoms like common colds as we can, because that's in actuality what it is, but it's a little bit more on the severe side. So I wouldn't say that I think that you have coronavirus. And I understand the fearfulness and just, being a little nervous by it, but stuffy nose, treat that. I like to do saline rinses for your nose, and, just the common basic medication that you normally take when you have some of those symptoms. It'd be good to just be focused on that. But at the same time, we try to keep it as natural as possible. So I talk about pineapple juice, which is a natural anti-inflammatory. It really helps with congestion, and as well as cherry juice, just really natural juices to help kind of flush things through your sinuses would be good. But I wouldn't say it's something to be scared about. I just say just be precaution, and just make sure that you take care of yourself. So keep doing the things that's going to help you feel better each day. But, I get right back to the water for that, Jason. We always talk about how important it is, and I preach water my whole life. Look at you. Here, where everybody else at? Where's your water? Look what I did.
I'm not only drinking water, I had a hot tea with lemon, ginger, and mint. I ain't playing.
Okay, you want it.
Okay, listen, the next question comes from Skin and Beats. Is it weird that the ZPak didn't work this year on the flu?
Well, the ZPak is an antibiotic. So we have to understand what that means for the body is fighting bacteria versus a virus. And so understanding those differences, I think a lot of times people just take ZPaks because, there's so many different ailments or illnesses that you can use for that. But it's not weird. I just think that, our body can also become immune to that. So if you overtake ZPaks or any type of antibiotic, then your system can kind of get used to that. So if you do get those, or you take it multiple times in a year, that can kind of affect you and allow your system to just become immune to it. So it doesn't really work as well as it would if you, take it once a year, or if you have an illness that requires that. So be more specific about what the medication is that you're taking, and not just taking something because you hear that it's what everybody's supposed to take when they're sick. Be a little bit more understanding for yourself what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So I don't think it's weird that it didn't work, but I also think that we have to know how to treat the symptoms more or less, as opposed to just taking what's the most common over-the-counter or prescribed medication that we're given.
Okay. The next question is from is TVY blessed? If you have asthma, is it a higher possibility to catch COVID-19?
Having asthma, it has to do with your lungs, right? And so, again, I said to be as prepared as possible. Any type of virus that comes into your system, no matter what, if you already have other conditions, Jason, we talked about that on your show the other day, but if we have conditions already that our bodies are more susceptible to getting these viruses, then once they enter our system, yes, that does cause a different level of having to fight it per se. So just being ready for that. Doing the things that that helps to keep your asthma controlled is where you need to do. We got to go with prevention first before we start trying to manage things, but that's also a part of it. So yes.
So earlier on when this happened, people were saying that kids and people of color can't catch it, and we've seen that that's changed. So the next question is from AV Million, where she says, should I take extra precautions with my 1-year-old?
Well, what we're learning right now is that children, especially under the age of 19 and younger, can actually be carriers as opposed to actually having the virus itself. So you can be carriers, and that's why we're being overprotective of those the older patients or the older people in our lives, because you can pass it as a young child. So yes, there may be a few I believe there are a few instances right now where there's some young children that have it. I think everybody is not exempt from catching the virus, but also understanding that, children, they can be more carriers than anything, and that's what our research have shown. So we just have to be sure that we understand what that means. So everyone needs to be under their precaution sign, but just making sure that we get that it's more or less about them being carriers and passing it to people who are immune depressant or their systems are a little bit more compromised. So it should be caution with everybody. We go back to prevention. So making sure our kids are clean, their hands if they do go outside or inside the house, changing their clothes, getting them in and outside of if they do leave the house, or if they're just wearing the same clothes, taking a few more baths and showers can help with the little kids as well, so that we can try to keep as much of the virus controlled as we can.
Now, this person says, Sayla, well, I don't even know how to say it, but if you're asymptomatic, how long can the virus remain incubated?
If you're asymptomatic, so that's a great question. Understanding that 2 days up to 14 days is really how long the incubation period is, but it can go even a little bit longer than that if you have those symptoms. So asymptomatic means without symptoms. A lot of people are confused about what that means. So it's up into a 2-week period that you really have that trial understanding where the incubation period is.
Right. So you're looking at like all these celebrities. One of the questions I got yesterday when I was on live, where people were saying all these celebrities and these athletes are coming out and saying that they have it, but they don't look sick. Is that because it's new, or it's at the onset of them catching it? Or is it because they have healthier immune systems because they're actively working out and they're fit and appear to be more healthy?
That's a really good question too. We've recently seen, I think yesterday, there was some Laker players, and there'll still be more that come the more that we have the testing that's available. But yes, they do have strong systems. Their bodies are built to work, not unless they already come into the league that way. Their bodies are built to be on a healthy professional playing field. So we're talking about elite athletes here that tend to be able to fight infections, but they're still human. People still get sick, and colds and flus and different viruses as well. I've seen both sides of it on the professional level, but they can also afford things. They can also afford this testing. It's not that we can't afford it. It's just, that level has a little bit more access to getting testing faster. Right now, I'm trying to encourage as many people not to just show up at the doctor demanding for tests until we have enough for the people who really need to get tested, and that's the people that have the symptoms. So yes, they have a little bit more access right now, specifically because it was moving around the league, and that required them to shut the league down, the NBA down. But also at the same time, they're able to, have more resources there than the common person is right now.
So Innovator MKTG is saying, what did you put in the water that you're drinking?
In my water, I cut up a mint. I had a mint plant. Now, these are mint leaves. I just like to find different ways to enhance my water, drinking as much water as I can. So I'll add mint leaves. I just did chlorophyll water drops in my gallon of water. So I'll drink that throughout the day. Alkaline water, I just tried different versions of water. You can cut up some lemon and make your own alkaline water, lemons and lime, alkalize your water. So just different stuff. Fruit is good in there. But I tried mint for today just to keep me feeling like it's a little tastier than just regular water.
So here's a question everybody keeps asking that I know you don't know the answer to because nobody seems to know, but this person's asking, when will this virus go away? Like, most people want to just return back to normal or want to feel at least at ease that they're not going to die from something that we don't know about.
Absolutely. I mean, we are ready to get back. I mean, you and I, we on the flights every other day. We travel a lot. So I think two things have to happen. One, we have to have better resources put out there for the testing. We need to just get everyone tested. But we also need to control. And, just recently in California, we did the stay-at-home initiative, which should have happened to me a while ago. But it's just happening now. And we have to really focus on that fine line of when we should leave the house, because this is how we're going to be able to control the numbers and really watch what everybody is dealing with as far as the symptoms and the cases and the actual fact that we can recover from it. So being able to get as much time in as we can right now, it's the best thing to do is just to have everyone, to me, on lockdown and be able to stop the spread of it. And the faster we can stop the spread, the faster we'll be able to all get back out to our regular lives. So those are the two things I think. It's like staying at home, and then also the resources that we'll need to kind of put forth to get as much more out of the testing. A lot of the medical offices and urgent cares, they only have a handful of tests. They only have 25 tests. They only have 15 tests. So we have to be very careful with the amount, and hopefully, that's my prayers that we'll be able to get more testing done so that everybody can understand whether they whether they have the coronavirus and exactly like what their status is for it. That's important.
So K.O says, how long does the virus live on fabric, like a couch?
I heard up to 4 hours. It's very important to get out of clothes. I tell my friends and family right now that when you come in the house, like right now, I've already taken the shower for the day, but I'm outside right now. I go back inside, I take another shower, and I keep those fabrics, the clothes, I put them directly in the washing machine, or I keep them all together and I wash them as soon as possible, because that's what kills the virus. Hot water, the detergent, Lysol, we talked about that, antibacteria, soap and water, period, kills it. But at the same time, having the right cleaning agents will help us be able to control the fabrics of it. So a couple hours, but it's important to know when to get out of the clothes, which should be within the first 5 minutes of shower or being back in the house.
So this person, like a lot of people, are in the house and they ain't got nothing to do, so they may be sipping on some alcohol. And in fact, the other day I was saying, like, I just need to have a drink. This person is saying, if I drink a lot of alcohol, do I have a low chance of catching the Rona?
A low chance or a higher?
I think you have a higher chance because the alcohol, it weakens the immune system, right?
Absolutely. The alcohol definitely weakens the immune system. So the liver, the kidneys, all your organs that need all the love that we could possibly give them right now, they're in a situation that if we don't continue to give them the love and we abuse them, then they're only going to not work for us, right? That's with anything. But alcohol definitely starts to stab at our liver and our kidneys and all of our important organs that we need to help be able to keep our immune system strong enough to not only digest a lot of what's going on with our food that we're eating, but also just to to release some of the toxins and to cleanse it. So alcohol is not going to help. I know that might just be an easy thing to do. I'm not saying I don't drink from time to time, but I'm just saying that we have to pay attention to what we put in our bodies. And so, of course, that might be a stress reliever to have a drink, but I just say in moderation, do these things if you're going to drink or smoke or, do something that's going to compromise your system, that we have to be paying attention to that way.
Okay, so the last question comes from Medjin Cherry. She says, in January, I was sick. I felt like a bad flu, but my doctor said it wasn't a cold or a flu and only prescribed me allergy meds. Could I have had the coronavirus? And that's the same thing that happened with me. They didn't, remember I called you, they didn't give me this, I didn't get a ZPak or nothing like that. I literally got IVs with vitamins. I drank tons of fluids, tons of vitamin C, slept a lot. And I passed it, but I too felt the same thing. Do you think they could have been misdiagnosed?
Absolutely. That's definitely a possibility. The coronavirus is a flu. There's different strands of it, right? This one is just a lot more heightened, a lot more serious, but they're all strands of this coronavirus. They have different strands. So yes, they could have definitely misdiagnosed it. Thankfully enough, with you, Jason, I was with you when you were going through that hard time and trying to figure out what it was or how long it's been, but realizing that your body is already strong enough to fight the infection, but that's what we want to focus on, is just keeping that strength up, because we don't really know, if that's what it was, but it's possible. It's possible. It's a cold. It's a common cold. That's a strand as well. And you just get sick and then you recover and you feel better. But it's those people who have that system that's not strong enough that will continue to put them to be a little bit more susceptible to feeling like that.
Listen, we're going to figure this out, and I appreciate you coming live. If we can do this daily, if you have it, I know there's things changing every day, but the days where you can do it, let's do it and go live so people get information. And we'll save this on Hollywood Unlocks Live, so it'll be here for 24 hours for people to see.
That sounds good. I'm here for you guys. Let's just keep focusing on staying at home if we can. Really think about your priorities and if it's necessary to leave out, and really just focus on cleaning yourself, feeling good, getting a little fresh air, doing some exercise to help stimulate your brain, and just stay hydrated. Keep drinking your water, keep showing that you're drinking the water, and let's figure it out. We will get through this together.
All right, cool. All right, well, I'm going to save this, and thank you, Courtney. I'm going to call you later. If I even as much as sneeze, I'm going to call you. And Courtney will be on our podcast next week, her and Dr. McHale, and then also we're figuring out a virtual way of doing our podcast, so I'm sure you'll pop up more frequently.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to helping everybody and to helping myself and to helping you guys understand what we could do to get back to our normal lives as best we can.
All right. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.